Hello everybody, Colleen here with Couture. Hoping that this is working now. I don't know why my phone acts up sometimes when I turn it sideways, which I know is the better view, but sometimes it gets a little screwy and it just, for some unknown reason, just stops my live for whatever reason. So, hello everyone. I hope everyone had a fantastic week. And if you got snow and you had a day off, I hope you enjoyed that extra day off. That was fun. Nothing like having a day off in the middle of the week. That was fun. But anyway, tonight I'm coming in with a new project. I had a piece of wood that I had stained in dark walnut, and I did use wax on it. Just because whenever I use wood surfaces, I do feel like I like to have it waxed. Just in case I decide I want to take the design out, or if I make a oops, then I can just wash it off of my board because it is waxed. I just find that, and not only that, it's smoother too. I like the way it feels after you wax it. So tonight we're going to do a really quick, fun project. Classic white chalk paste I'm going to use, I think, for everything. I think the white looks so good on this dark walnut stain. So this actually is the first time I have opened this transfer. So I just want to show you, it comes in a sheet like this, and then you have your lines here, and that's where you're going to cut so that you can work with your pieces. So I've actually already, these were together, so I already cut them apart. And then the first thing that we do that is just a time saver, and I think pretty important to do, is just to label the back of your transfers. That way you know that you're putting it on the correct way. And because the silkscreen transfers are reusable, you want to make sure that you are putting it back on the right side. So you can either write the word back, or you can write actually what the transfer is. I like to write the word that it actually is, because it just makes it easier when it becomes like a puzzle piece trying to get the transfers back onto the correct carrier sheet. So I do like to write the words, but since this was an image, I just wrote back on it. So I'm going to just put this off to the side here on the floor. The other pieces that I'm not going to use, and this should be dry now. Yep, that's dry. And I had this backwards, I realized. Mr. and Mrs. And again, I'm just going to use white chalk paste and write on the transfer. So I'm going to go ahead and get my chalk paste out. And oops, that one, I think we're hitting the bottom of the barrel with that white. I've got a couple different white chalk paste open, so I want to, here we go. Here is one of my chalk pastes. So what I do is, because I haven't used it in a little bit, this one, because like I said, I accidentally have like 3 different white chalk paste open at the same time. I haven't used this one in a little bit, so I just want to make sure that I'm giving it a nice stir. And this did get a little bit stiff, so what we do in this case is we just add a little bit of water. We're going to add a little bit first, and we can always add more, but if we add too much water at first, then obviously we can't take it away. If that does happen where you just add it just a little too much, just let the paste sit out for a little bit, just so that the water absorbs into the chalk paste. And that didn't take much, just one little tiny squirt right in there, and it gave me the consistency that I'm looking for. I may just do just a hint more, just to make it just a little bit more yogurt-like. And I think we are in good shape. Now, when stirring your chalk paste, you want to make sure that you're using, you can use like a plastic utensil, or I have these little plastic makeup stirrers. You don't want to use wooden sticks. We've come to find out that that actually will dry out your chalk paste. And we definitely don't want to do that, because you can get a lot of uses and many projects out of these 2-ounce little jars. We're actually starting to cross over to our 3-ounce jars. So this is our white chalk paste in the 3-ounce jar, so you can see. And these are actually great too, because it has like a plastic, not plastic, it has like a styrofoam insert in there, which keeps your paste nice and moist. And so that we're not using these little plastic things any longer in our 3-ounce jar. So that's pretty cool. So I think I have the desired consistency that I am looking for. So what I'm going to do is take the transfer from its carrier sheet. Now this is the very first time that I'm using this transfer. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually placing it on my pants, and that's called fuzzing it up. And the reason that we do that, especially on like a non-chalkboard, when we're using it on wood or glass for the very first time, you want to just make sure that you're picking up some of the lint from your pants or your shirt, or you can even do it on a towel, however you wish, but it just gets some fuzz on there just so that it doesn't stick so hard to your surface and then you can't get it back off of your whatever you happen to be chalking on. So just using the edge of the board as kind of my guide here, and just placing that down, making sure that I'm not feeling any bubbles in there. I am kind of eyeballing this. Hopefully that actually looks a little higher on the top. Let me take that off. See how nice and easy that came off because I did fuzz it. So I'm actually going to move this down just a little bit. You can use a ruler to get everything nice and straight, but I kind of fly by the seat of my pants and just eyeball it. So again, now I'm doing the other side. I'm just putting that sticky side down right under my pants, just picking up the fuzz onto the back of the transfer. Just lift it up, put it down a couple times just to get some of that fuzz. And when we actually clean our transfers, it will get the fuzz back off of here because we're going to put these transfers in a water bath when we have done chalking, when we're done chalking on them. And then that way, that's how we can clean them so that we can reuse them again and again. Usually about between 8 to 10 times you can get out of your transfer. It depends also on the medium that you're using. So if you're using it on glass, it does get very sticky, so you may wind up stretching your transfer a little bit. It all depends. So we just kind of like to give a rough 8 to 10 is usually the normal. But if you're using it on chalkboards predominantly, you can probably get more out of that. And if you're really good with, I think I just felt something under there, I'm just checking. If you're really good with cleaning your transfers, then you should be able to get a little bit more life out. I think it's just a bump in my wood that I'm feeling. You should be able to get a little bit more use out of it if you really are taking care of it and cleaning it. So I'm going to start with the end because I have a feeling, I'm going to slide that over, that this is going to overlap. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it again, trying to get this a little bit centered. I think that looks okay. I'm just going to take this off. Again, same thing. Always for the first time using a transfer, you just want to make sure, let me try this out, that you're getting it nice and fuzzy. So let's do that with our end. Like so, and then we're just going to kind of eyeball it and get it kind of in. I'm going to stand up so I can do this. Sorry, I'm blocking the light behind me, just so I can get kind of a little bit better visual if I'm centering this or not. Kind of feel like that looks pretty good. Again, there are fancy tools that you can make sure that these get nice and straight, or you can just use a ruler. But like I said, I just kind of wing it. All right, now we're on to Mr. And we're gonna just put that here. Kind of, again, trying to center it a little bit. Now, you know what? I probably should have done Mrs. first because that's a little bit bigger. I think we should be okay. What I can do is, actually what I'll do is I'll probably hold off on Mrs. Get all this done first and then get that out of the way, and then I can lay down Mrs. So we have a couple different options here. Because this is a little bit bigger of a project, I think what I'm going to do is, instead of, usually what I do is I have our small squeegees and I cut them in half, and then that's for like smaller spaces, and that also helps me get into my 2-ounce jar. But because this is a little bit bigger, this is actually what the small squeegee looks like. And this helps just go through everything very quickly. And what's nice is with the 3-ounce jars, it fits in here perfectly, so that's awesome. But because I'm still using a 2-ounce jar, I'm just going to use my stick, my little makeup stick here, and I'm just going to put down some of the chalk paste right onto my transfer. It's completely up to you however you want to do it. If you prefer to put it down first or you prefer to just use your squeegee and do it, either way works fine. This is just a nice big squeegee, so I can just get this chalk paste covered on my silkscreen area very nicely. I am applying a little bit of pressure. I'm not you know, having the silicone squeegee kind of bend. I'm kind of holding it sort of rigid and going over again a little harder on my second go, because I'm picking up all my excess chalk paste and I'm putting that right back into my jar. So what we do is we take this off, and we have, like I said, I have a little water bath right off to the side. I love that, how that looks in there. That's the detail in the transfer, so it gives it that cool effect. So I have my transfer in my water bath right next to me, and I'm just going to keep going, moving right along. We'll go to this side. I'm going to slide down a little so you guys can see this side. I have the cool little flowery leaf, I don't even know what you call that thing, little design for the side of the board, which I thought is really cute. And you know what else? This looks fantastic on our pillows, on our canvas pillows. That is an awesome wedding gift as well for newlyweds. That's also available on my online store, which I'll link below as soon as I'm done my video. So again, just putting a little more pressure, getting all that chalk paste off. You have a nice thin layer of the chalk paste right on our transfer. And then we'll just take that one off. Oh, look how nice that looks. It just looks so nice on the dark walnut stain. I really like it. Okay, so I'm going to slide down again a little bit because my board is kind of long. I forget the exact measurements of this board, but if you're interested in knowing, I can look that up real quick and then post that in the comments as well. So moving right along to Mister. And again, this probably won't need that much paste. But if you do put too much paste on it first, no worries. You're just going to scrape it off and put it right back into your container anyway. So sometimes I misjudge and I do get a little crazy and put too much on, but that's not a big deal. And like I said, when you add that little bit of pressure, you're taking off. So then you can just put that right there, right in that section. So again, nice thin layer we've got here. Just want to make sure I missed a little piece of the M there. And again, just pulling the transfer off. Look how awesome that looks. This transfer is cool. I don't know why I didn't open this one sooner. I really like it. Okay, and one last side piece here. There we go. This is the perfect size squeegee. I love this squeegee. But we also have another squeegee which is awesome for big projects, and that is our 4-inch handled squeegee. So this one works pretty good too if you wanted to use it on that project, but this one I just had closer, so I grabbed it, and it's actually perfect. We also have an angled squeegee for more detailed and when you're doing different colors. That squeegee is also pretty awesome. That one is this one right here. This is our angled squeegee, so it's cool if you're trying to get angles and you're going from different colors. So there's a couple different options, which is nice. Just whatever you're comfortable using. That is it. I'm just going to set this down real quick and make a little bit of space in my tray of water over here, so that I can fit all of these pieces here. And what you can do is in your tray, if you do have a lot of different pieces going on, you can just push down and have the transfer kind of sink to the bottom. And it's okay if you have another piece, another transfer that you need to put on top. Because they are in water, they kind of lose their stickiness a little bit, so they won't stick together. It's okay. They're going to regain their stickiness when we take it out of the water bath and we clean it off, and the final step will be with a disinfectant wipe, and that actually brings the stickiness back, which is pretty awesome. So I think, let me see, yeah, our end is already dry. and so is the side decal over here. So I'm not worried about putting this in case it touches it. We are good to go. I can take a heat tool or a hair dryer is what I meant to say, to this and speed up the process of drying. But white, I found, actually dries pretty darn quickly. Yeah, that's pretty dry too. So, but if you want to speed the process up, you can just take a hair dryer or heat tool right to it and just dry it off, and that'll speed up the process for you. So let's get our last one on here. I think this is really pretty. You can add some cool embellishments to it. You can do like little knobs down here, so you can have it be like a place to put your keys or your dog leash or whatever, or just a nice fun sign for engaged couples that you might know. All right, I'm gonna stand up again just so I can make sure I'm kind of getting where I need to be with my misses. Just kind of eyeballing it again. I'm really bad with that, but usually it winds up working out. And like I said, if not a big deal. I can just erase it, just spritz a little bit of water on there and wash it off with a paper towel if I happen to be really, really grossly off in my eyeballing it. Okay, last one. So we're just again doing the same thing. I forgot to mention, and I actually kind of forgot to do it, just to make sure you're not feeling any bubbles in the silk screen area when you put your transfer down. It just helps it from leaving. It'll show up a little bit differently if there is an air bubble in there, so you just kind of want to make sure that you're not feeling any air bubbles. If you prefer, you can actually use another squeegee and just use that to lay down your transfer and make sure that it's got a nice, what's the word I'm looking for? That it's catching nicely to your surface. I can't think of the word right now. It's been a long week, even though I did have that Wednesday off, which was lovely. Okay. Again, just getting all my excess off. My heat is kicking on, so I think that's really helping to dry out my chalk paste. Again, just putting all that extra in there. And then I actually take my squeegee, I put that right in my water bath as well, clean that off, and we reuse those over and over. Awesome! That came out so cute. So what I do is, so that you're not getting a lot of chalk gunk around the side of your chalk paste, what you can do is just at the end of your project, just take your stirrer and kind of get all that away from the edge of your jar, because it can get a little messy, and that happens. It's not a big deal if it does, but just to kind of try and keep things neat. And then what I do is I get a paper towel and just go around the edge of my jar, and I probably shouldn't do this over my project, so I'm going to move this a little bit. I just clean the edge of my jar off, because with the 2-ounce jars, like I mentioned earlier, we do have that plastic ring that sits on top. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're not having any, and it's dried, so it'll actually just flake off with my nail. Just want to make sure that there's no chalk paste, because we need a nice tight seal, and that happens, it's okay. You just want to make sure that you've got a nice tight seal when you're closing your jar, and that'll keep your paste in great shape. And the fantastic thing about chalk paste, I have some on my hands, all you need to do, because it does come off with water. So you can just use a little bit of water, and that gets the chalk paste right off of your fingers. Or if I made a boo-boo, I could just spritz a little water here and just get off any mistakes that I happen to make. So that is my project for tonight. I actually wanted to show you guys something real quick that I had done right before I came on with the live. We also have Chalk Couture ink. So any of the transfers that you typically use your chalk paste with, you can actually also use chalk ink. It's called Couture ink, and it has so many amazing fun colors. We have a bunch that, 3 of them that I think are like shimmery. So this is our silver ink. Then we also have gold ink, and then copper, which is so cool. That's a really pretty color. Besides a bunch of different other couture inks that we have in stock. And so it works pretty much the same way. You use your transfer, you use the Couture ink instead of your chalk paste, and you apply it just like you do your Couture ink, your chalk paste, and you dry it. So I've dried this, and then the final step would be, because this is a mug, I would put this in the oven. I'd place it in a cold oven, turn the oven on for 350, and leave it on for half an hour, and this is permanent. This will not wash off. So that's just another fun project. The versatility of Chalk Couture is amazing now that they've launched the Couture ink, and it's just limitless. I did that mug, and I actually did this mug as well, and I thought that came out really pretty on the white mug. So this is actually still a little, still just a tad bit wet. So I want to make sure that that is fully dry before I put that into the oven, and I'm going to do that just as soon as I feel like this is nice and dry. So I'll pop both of those in the oven, and they will be good to go. They'll be permanent. So that's my fun project for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. I probably will, I think I might put some kind of embellishment down here. I can put hooks on the back of here and put burlap string so that it can hang. There's just so many different things I can do with it, but this is how quick and easy, the basics of it, and then you could leave it like this, which I love, or you can just add embellishments however you wish. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys had a fantastic time watching, and if you would be so kind as to share the video, share the Chalk Couture love, I would truly appreciate it. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. Bye!